The door you've been waiting on is about to open, not by the hands of man, not by the approval of others, not by your qualifications, your status, or your background, but by the hand of Almighty God. I declare to you right now, with all the fire in my soul, God is about to open a door that no man, no demon, no enemy, and no force on earth can shut. If you've ever felt like you were standing in front of a wall that wouldn't move, a gate that wouldn't budge, a ceiling that wouldn't crack, then listen closely. Because what's coming isn't ordinary. What's coming is divine. It's supernatural. It's from the throne of heaven itself. And when God opens this door, it will silence every critic, it will shut the mouths of every liar, and it will make every delay make sense. Some of you have been stuck in a hallway of waiting. You've knocked, you've prayed, you've cried, and still nothing moved. You watched others walk through doors while yours stayed shut. But listen, God doesn't open doors on your schedule, He opens them on His purpose. And when He moves with such power, such precision, such authority, that no one can block what He has ordained. You may have been denied by men, rejected by systems, overlooked by people, but you are still chosen by God, and when God chooses you, the door will answer to Him, not them. There are doors that are locked by fear, doors locked by trauma, doors locked by betrayal. Some of you have been standing before a door that generational curses have kept shut. You've been told you'll never rise above your background. You've been told you'll never break free from poverty, addiction, depression, loneliness. But I came to tell you, what man has locked, God is about to unlock. The world may have labeled you, limited you, laughed at you, but God has the final word, and that word is power. That word is favor. That word is freedom. That word is open. When God opens a door, it's not a suggestion. It's a command. It doesn't need validation from your past or permission from your enemies. It doesn't wait for the economy to turn or the people around you to believe in you. When God says go, everything else must align. And if it doesn't align, God will move it out of the way. When God says open, it opens. Even if it was never supposed to open for someone like you, that's the power of the one who holds the keys to all things, seen and unseen. You may feel forgotten right now. You may be watching everyone around you stepping into new seasons, getting breakthroughs, walking into blessings while you're still praying, still waiting. But let me tell you something that will shake your soul. Delays are not denials. Detours are not defeats. God is preparing you for a door that is so great, He had to first prepare you to walk through it. Because what God has for you is not cheap, not common, not small. That's why it's been delayed. Because what He's about to open is too big for you to walk into unprepared. Do you understand that every closed door in your past was a divine protection? That what you called rejection was really redirection. That every no was leading you to the right? Yes. God doesn't waste time. He doesn't play games with your life. He is strategic. He is purposeful. And He is always on time. Even when you don't see it, He's working behind the scenes, rearranging things, lining up people, removing obstacles, shifting atmospheres, all for you. So stop doubting. Stop giving up just before the breakthrough. The door is closer than you think. Some of you are asking, why did God let them leave me? Why did God close that opportunity? Why did He allow that job, that relationship, that dream to fall apart? Because that was not your door. Not every door that looks good is God ordained. Not every open door leads to blessing. Some doors lead to distraction. Some doors lead to destruction. Some doors are traps dressed up as opportunities. And God loves you too much to let you walk into something that will break you when He's called you to rise. You see, God doesn't just open any door. He opens the right door. And the right door may not be the one you expected. It may not be the one that pays the most, looks the best, or comes the fastest. But it will be the one that aligns with your purpose, protects your peace, multiplies your anointing, and brings you closer to Him. The door God opens will not come with stress and confusion. It will come with clarity, confirmation, and power. You can't force open what God has closed, and you can't close what God has opened. So stop begging for access to places God has shut. Stop trying to resurrect what God has buried. If they walked away, let them walk. If it ended, let it end, because God never subtracts without the intention to multiply. When He removes, He replaces. When He breaks, He rebuilds. And what He's building in your life will blow your mind. But you've got to trust His timing. You've got to trust His no just as much as you trust His yes. Listen to me. God is about to do something so radical, so undeniable, that people who once ignored you will have to admit that only God could have done this. This door isn't just for a job or a relationship or a position. This door is for destiny. This door is for legacy. This door is for the fulfillment of every promise spoken over your life. It will elevate you, yes. But more than that, it will align you with your divine assignment. That's why the warfare has been so intense. That's why the attacks have come from every direction. The enemy senses what's coming. He knows that if you walk through this next door, hell won't be able to stop you. So get ready. Pack your faith. Gather your strength. Shake off the dust of yesterday. Let go of what didn't work. Because what God is about to open, no man can shut. Not the boss who didn't promote you. Not the friend who betrayed you. Not the system that's been against you. Not the voice of fear in your own head. God's door overrides every other authority. It silences every lie. It cancels every limitation. And it confirms what you always knew deep down, that God was with you all along. And when the door opens, don't apologize for it. Don't downplay it to make others comfortable. Don't question whether you deserve it. You don't, but God is not blessing you because of your perfection. He's blessing you because of your obedience, because of your endurance, because of your faith. He's rewarding what others couldn't see: the prayers in secret, the tears at midnight, the sacrifices no one applauded. God saw it all, and He is about to reward you openly. Understand this: when God opens a door, it doesn't just bless you, it blesses everyone connected to you. Your family will be impacted. Your community will shift. Generational chains will be broken. People who didn't even believe in God will begin to believe, because they will see what He did for you. This is not just a personal door. It's a divine demonstration of God's power. But you must be ready, because new doors come with new levels of responsibility. The same mindset that worked in the hallway won't work in the new room. You've got to elevate. You've got to step into this door with discipline, with humility, with boldness, with prayer. You can't carry old habits into new blessings. You can't walk through a God-given door with a man-pleasing spirit. You've got to know who opened it, and you've got to walk through it giving God all the glory. Don't be surprised if some people fall off when you walk through this door. Don't be shocked if jealousy rises. Not everyone can handle the weight of your elevation, but that's okay. God is your defender. Let the critics talk. Your breakthrough will speak louder than their gossip. Let the haters hate. Your fruit will prove them wrong. When God opens a door, even your enemies will have to watch you walk through it. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not disqualified. You are standing at the edge of something supernatural. The storm didn't destroy you. It prepared you. The waiting didn't kill you. It strengthened you. And now, by the power of the one who never fails, the door is about to swing open, not by might, not by power, but by the Spirit of God. Lift your head. Strengthen your knees. Wipe your tears, because the door is opening. And when it does, you'll look back and understand why it took so long. You'll see that every delay had a reason. Every battle had a purpose. Every no was protecting a greater yes. And now, the yes of God is about to be louder than every no you've ever heard. Let them doubt you. Let them mock you. Let them say it's impossible. But you know something they don't. You serve a God who specializes in the impossible. You serve a God who doesn't need permission, who doesn't need a vote, who doesn't consult man before he moves. He speaks, and it is done. He commands, and it stands firm. He opens, and no one shuts. That's the God you serve. That's the door he's opening. And when you walk through it, walk with your head held high, not in arrogance, but in assurance, not in pride, but in purpose, because you didn't get here on your own. You got here by grace, by faith, by trusting when it made no sense. And now the season is shifting. The wait is ending. The door is opening. And no man, no demon, no circumstance can shut what God has decreed. Let me tell you this with fire in my voice and truth in my bones. When God prepares a door for you, it is not random, it is not shallow, and it is not temporary. It is rooted in eternal wisdom, soaked in divine timing, and crafted for a purpose far greater than your comfort or convenience. This is not just an open door for success. This is an open door for significance, a door for transformation, a door for spiritual maturity, a door where God will reveal his power in ways that no book, no mentor, no sermon, no experience could have taught you. Only the journey of faith could have prepared you. Some of you are about to be ushered into rooms you never trained for, into environments you didn't qualify for on paper, into callings you thought were reserved for others. But God does not promote based on credentials, he promotes based on surrender. He does not elevate based on popularity, he elevates based on purpose. So while others were seeking positions, you were seeking God. While others were chasing applause, you were chasing his presence. And now, that secret pursuit is about to bring a public reward. Don't mistake silence for absence. Don't misinterpret the quiet season as abandonment. God speaks in stillness, and he moves in mystery. Just because you didn't see the door forming doesn't mean it wasn't being built. Behind the veil of your struggle, behind the curtains of your tears, behind the loneliness, behind the misunderstood obedience, God was carving out a way, shaping a season, preparing a moment when everything would shift in your favor. When God opens this door, it's not going to be subtle. It will shake things. It will shift the spiritual climate around you. Some people will be uncomfortable with your access. Some won't understand how you arrived where they thought you'd never reach. But remember, this man can question you, but man cannot cancel what God has approved. Man can resist you, but man cannot remove you from a place God has ordained. Some doors you thought were losses were actually layers being peeled off. God closed certain paths because you were too valuable to be wasted. You were not born for crumbs. You were made to walk in divine provision. You were not created to settle. You were designed to soar. But you can't soar if you're still clinging to what's safe. That's why God shut the doors that you begged him to open, because he was preparing a better one. A door that leads not to ease, but to destiny. Let me ask you something deep. Can you still trust God when the hallway gets dark? Can you still worship when the wait gets long? Can you still praise when the silence stretches beyond your understanding? Because what unlocks this next door is not desperation, it's devotion. Not panic, but persistence. Not fear, but faith. God wants to know that you don't just want the blessing. You want the one who blesses. That you're not just in love with the result, but with the one who writes the story. This door is not about you proving yourself to others. It's about God proving himself to you. Not that he owes you proof, but because he loves to show his glory through the lives of those who trust him blindly. This door will be an answer to prayers you forgot you prayed. It will restore what years tried to steal. It will redeem what pain tried to ruin. And it will remind you that nothing surrendered to God ever stays buried. It resurrects in greater form. Some of you need to stop asking when and start declaring now. Because faith is not passive. Faith is not hesitant. Faith steps forward even when it doesn't see the whole staircase. Faith knocks on doors even when they've been locked for years. Faith keeps walking even when others have stopped, and God honors that kind of relentless trust. That kind of daring belief that says, even if it takes longer than I expected, I still believe. Even if I lose support, I still believe. Even if it costs me something, I still believe. Listen to me closely. You don't need many people in your corner. You just need God to be on your side. You don't need everyone to understand your vision. You just need to obey the voice of the one who gave it to you. Because once God opens this door, it will bring acceleration. What took others 10 years will happen in months for you. Not because you rushed, but because you waited. Not because you forced it, but because you flowed with God's timing. And let me warn you, don't despise small beginnings. Don't overlook the hidden training ground. Don't complain about the wilderness, because that's where warriors are formed. God trains His strongest soldiers in the silence. He refines His vessels in the fire. And what comes out of the furnace is not fragile, it is purity. It is set apart for greater things. So if you feel like you've been hidden, rejoice. Because when God reveals you, He reveals you with power. This door won't just open to let you in. It will open to let what's been inside of you out. Your gift, your wisdom, your authority, your voice, your assignment, it's been developing in the dark. And now God is saying, come forth. Not with timidity, not with fear, but with fire. Because when God opens this door, it won't be about fitting in. It will be about standing out. Not to exalt yourself, but to exalt God through everything you do. Let others try to explain it. Let them try to rationalize it. But the hand of God cannot be explained. It can only be witnessed. And when people witness what He is about to do in your life, it will stir something in them. Some will be jealous. Some will be inspired. But all will know that God is real, and He moves in the lives of those who dare to trust Him fully. Don't get distracted by the noise around you. Don't get caught up trying to predict which door it will be. Just stay in position. Stay humble. Stay faithful. Stay available. Because when the door swings open, you won't have time to prepare. You'll have to walk through it ready. And only those who have prepared in private will be able to handle what is released in public. You must understand, when God chooses to open a door, He doesn't need permission, He doesn't need consensus, and He doesn't need assistance. The same God who created the heavens and the earth with a word is the same God who can speak a moment into motion for you. One word from God can undo years of struggle. One divine shift can reroute every obstacle that tried to block you. And this next door is not just a new opportunity, it's a complete shift in your destiny. Some of you have been walking in circles, held back not by lack of ability, but by divine timing. That feeling of frustration you've carried, that restlessness in your spirit, it wasn't because you failed, it was because God was holding the door until the right time. Because if you had entered too soon, it would have broken you. If He had opened it without your roots going deep enough, you would have crumbled under the weight of the blessing. God will not promote a person into purpose if their character cannot carry the weight of the calling. That is why He isolated you. That is why He allowed you to feel hidden, not because He was punishing you, but because He was protecting what He placed inside you. The gift in you is too rare, the vision on you is too valuable, and the favor around you is too costly to be rushed. God does not deal in shortcuts. He is the master builder, the wise planner, the timeless one. And when He opens what is meant for you, it will not come through striving, it will come through surrender. Let your soul hear this today. You don't need to chase after the door, you need to chase after God. When you seek Him, the door seeks you. When you walk in obedience, the door walks toward you. You don't have to knock on doors that were never assigned to your name. You don't have to force connections that were never written into your story. When God opens the right door, it will have your name carved into its frame before you even arrive. It will fit you perfectly, not because you're perfect, but because you're positioned, and the world will be baffled. Because how can someone who was counted out become the one who is lifted up? How can someone who was overlooked, underfunded, underestimated, now stand in a place of elevation? I'll tell you how. Because God delights in confounding human expectations. He is not bound by your RA summe, your history, your status. He raises the humble and brings down the proud. He lifts those who trust in Him, not those who trust in the systems of man. Do not be discouraged by those who walked away. Do not grieve over those who refused to support you. Their absence was part of the preparation. Their silence was part of the purification. God will not allow the wrong people to walk with you through the right door. He will not let what is unclean contaminate what He has sanctified. This next door will require purity, maturity, and full dependence on God. No more half faith. No more lukewarm obedience. This is a season where your surrender must match your request, because some of you have been praying for God-sized doors with man-sized faith. That won't work. You can't step into the supernatural with natural thinking. You can't access divine dimensions with a divided heart. This is a moment to go deeper, not wider. To become rooted, not restless. Stop comparing your journey. Stop questioning God's methods. Stop measuring your worth by human standards. God is not grooming you for popularity. He is preparing you for purpose. And purpose always precedes promotion. You see, when God opens this door, it won't be a private moment. It will be a public manifestation of what He promised you in secret. That's why He's been silent. That's why He's let you walk through dry places. Because when the door opens, the evidence will speak louder than any explanation. God's fingerprints will be all over the outcome, and no man will be able to take credit for what He alone has done. But hear this, the greater the door, the greater the resistance. The enemy doesn't fight what he doesn't fear, and the reason the warfare around you has been so intense is because the enemy knows what you're carrying. He knows the kind of breakthrough that will follow when you walk through that door. He knows that others will be set free because of your obedience. So he throws distractions, discouragement, deception. But let me remind you, no adversary is greater than the authority of God. So walk in confidence, not in yourself, but in the one who promised. Don't let temporary opposition make you forfeit eternal reward. Don't let delay convince you of denial. God has not forgotten what He spoke over you. His promises are not fragile, and His timing is not flawed. The same God who parted seas, who raised prophets from obscurity, who fed entire nations in drought, is the God who is opening a door just for you. But will you be ready? Will you be found faithful when the door appears? Will you walk through it with humility, not pride? Will you still seek God when the spotlight is on you, the same way you sought Him in the shadows? Because the door is not the reward, God is. The open door is the platform, but the presence of God is the power. Never confuse the gift with the giver. Never chase the opening more than you chase the one who opens. So prepare your heart, clean your hands, set your mind on higher things, because this is a door that leads to influence, not for ego, but for impact. You will speak and things will shift. You will move and chains will break. You will show up and environments will change, not because of you, but because God will go before you. He is not just opening a physical door, He is opening a spiritual portal, an access point for transformation. And once it opens, walk boldly, not timidly, not hesitantly, not asking for permission. Walk like someone who knows they are backed by heaven, like someone who knows they've been through the fire and came out gold. This is not your chance. It's your calling. This is not your spotlight. It's your sanctification. Walk through that door with purpose in your step and praise on your lips, because God is about to show you why it took so long, why it hurt so bad, and why it's going to be worth every second of the wait. The time is near. The shifting has begun. The door is forming in the realm you cannot see, and when it appears, it will not knock. You must be ready to walk. And you will know it's God, because it will come with peace. It will come with clarity. It will come with confirmation. Not in noise, but in power. not in confusion, but in divine order. This is the kind of door that history will remember, because it will be marked by the move of God. There comes a moment in your life where everything shifts, not because of what you've done, but because of what God has decided. That moment is not marked by applause, nor by opportunity alone, but by the sovereign will of God stepping into time and declaring, now. When God says now, no delay can hold it back, no barrier can block it, and no force can compete with it. That no breaks every cycle. That no ends every drought. That no comes wrapped in a door only God can open. And that moment, for some of you, is closer than you think. You have wrestled in prayer. You have been faithful in silence. You have endured through seasons of loss, pain, and confusion. And all along, while it seemed nothing was changing, God was storing every tear, measuring every test, and building a door beyond the reach of human interference. You thought God was ignoring you, but He was establishing something no hand could corrupt and no mouth could discredit. He wasn't denying you. He was refining you. For this next season, you don't just need a blessing, you need the strength to carry what comes with it. And God never delivers what you aren't prepared to sustain. Many want open doors, but few want the fire that prepares them. Because before God opens the external, He strengthens the internal. He breaks the pride, purges the fear, silences the ego, and deepens the trust. Not so that you can just walk through a door, but so that you can walk through with power and integrity. If the door opens before your soul is ready, the very thing you called a blessing can become a burden. That's why God holds the door until the pressure within you turns to purpose, until your posture becomes one of complete surrender, not to the door, but to Him. What is coming is not just a shift of circumstance, it is a realignment of identity. Through this open door, God is going to show you who you really are, not who others said you were, not who your past tried to label you as, but who God always knew you to be. The delay wasn't punishment, it was God protecting you from building your identity on things that fade. He stripped away what was false so He could dress you in truth. And when you walk through that door, you won't just have a new opportunity, you'll have a new name in the Spirit. You'll carry authority not given by people, but by the Most High alone. There will be some who won't understand it. Some will try to diminish it. Others will try to attach themselves to your breakthrough without ever enduring your battle, but let them talk. Because what God ordains cannot be undone by opinions. What God starts cannot be stopped by envy. You don't need everyone to celebrate you. You need only to remain faithful to the one who sent you. He who brought you this far will carry you the rest of the way. And don't forget, the open door is not the end. It is only the beginning. When God opens a door, He doesn't just change your position, He commissions your purpose. What's waiting on the other side of the door is responsibility. It's the weight of influence. It's the call to stand firm when others fall. It's the assignment to remain anchored when the winds of temptation and distraction come. If you think the open door is just for your comfort, you've missed it. The door is not for convenience, it's for calling. And every calling comes with a cost. That's why God waited. That's why He pulled you back when you thought you were ready. Because God would rather delay the door than deliver you into destruction. And when you look back, you'll thank Him for every closed door that wasn't meant for you. For every rejection that was actually His redirection. For every detour that disguised divine protection. Because what's coming now isn't fragile. It's fire tested. It's heaven approved. It's been sealed in prayer and matured in faith. And you must understand, the door God is opening isn't just for your breakthrough. It's for others waiting on the other side. There are people you haven't met yet who will be changed because you were bold enough to walk through what God placed before you. There are lives that will be impacted by your courage. Generations that will shift because you answered the call. That's why you can't afford to shrink back. You weren't built for comfort, you were built for courage. You weren't made for mediocrity, you were marked for divine impact. So walk boldly, but walk humbly. Carry the fear of God in your heart and the fire of purpose in your soul. Let your posture be one of gratitude, not entitlement, because this isn't a reward for your perfection. It's a demonstration of God's goodness. You didn't earn the door. You yielded to the preparation. You didn't force the door. You followed the process. And now, God is about to do something through you that will exceed your expectations and silence your doubts. Be careful not to despise the season before the door. Don't rush the process. For every door God opens, He prepares a version of you that can thrive within it. He knows what's ahead. He knows the pressure, the opportunity, the attacks, the blessings. And in His mercy, He builds you up before He lifts you up. Because the higher you go, the deeper your roots must be. And God is not in the business of building towers that fall. He builds temples that last. So hold fast. Stand firm. Do not be moved by the noise around you or the silence within. God is faithful. And what He begins, He finishes. You're not walking through this door because you manipulated circumstances or made the right connections. You're walking through because you endured, because you believed when belief was costly, because you remained when walking away would have been easier, because you trusted the one you could not see more than the things you could. The door is coming, and when it does, step through with fire in your spirit and God in your vision. Let every step be worship. Let every word be seasoned with faith. Let your hands be ready to build and your heart be ready to serve. Because what you are entering now is holy. It's a space carved by the Most High for such a time as this. It's a realm where no counterfeit can enter, where no imitation can last. It's the place of divine assignment. And once you're in, don't stop praying. Don't stop seeking. Don't stop depending on God, for just as He opened the door, He alone will sustain you through it. The same hand that lifted you will anchor you. The same power that brought you in will protect you. And if He ever chooses to close this door, it will only be because He's preparing an even greater one ahead. And when you finally step into what God has appointed for you, let your soul remember this truth. It was never about the door. It was always about the preparation of your heart. Because God does not simply lead us into new places for pleasure. He leads us into higher ground for purpose. He stretches us, molds us, tests us in the fire, so that when the appointed time comes, we don't crumble under the weight of what we once prayed for. God's open door is not just a passage, it's a proving ground. It reveals the strength He forged in your silence, the faith He cultivated in your wilderness, the purity He birthed in your pain. You see, many desire the elevation, but they resist the refining. They want the platform without the process. But God never rushes greatness. God does not thrust you into visibility without first rooting you in invisibility. That hidden season, the one where no one applauded, no one noticed, no one validated, that was the season where your soul was being built for longevity. Because what God is about to do through you is not temporary. It's not seasonal. It's foundational. It's generational. You're not just walking through this door for yourself. You are walking through as a representative of all those who came before you, who prayed, who sacrificed, who sowed in tears. And you're walking through for those coming after you, those who will eat from the fruit of your obedience. And be aware, when God opens a door, it does not always come with comfort. It may not look how you imagine. It may stretch you beyond anything you've known. Because the doors that lead to destiny rarely look like the doors that lead to ease. Don't miss the opportunity because it doesn't look like what you expected. God often disguises destiny in discomfort. What seems unfamiliar to your flesh may be perfectly aligned with your spirit. Trust His ways. Trust His wisdom. Trust that God knows how to position you better than you know how to plan for yourself. You are being summoned to rise, not by man, not by circumstance, but by the Almighty. And when He calls you higher, you must shed what cannot ascend with you: old habits, old thoughts, old relationships, even old versions of yourself, because this new door will demand a new discipline. God is calling you out of cycles and into covenant. He is calling you to elevate not just in influence, but in integrity, not just in visibility, but in vision. This isn't just about what you'll receive, it's about who you're becoming, because God is more concerned with your transformation than your transaction. And hear this deeply: when God opens a door, He makes sure it is sealed with peace. Not the kind of peace that comes from circumstances aligning, but the kind that floods your heart even when logic says it shouldn't. You will walk through chaos and feel calm. You will step into the unknown and sense clarity. Because where God leads, His peace follows. That's how you'll know it's Him. Not by the applause of others, not by the glitter of the opportunity, but by the divine stillness that wraps around your soul like a shield. Many people chase open doors, but those who truly walk with God understand that favor follows the faithful. They don't chase blessings, they chase obedience. Because when your heart is aligned with God, you don't need to knock down doors. Doors recognize the authority of God in you and open on their own. That's the kind of power that flows from alignment. That's the kind of confidence you walk in when you've been anchored in the presence of God. And don't you ever doubt that what God has for you is already yours. Not because of merit, but because of mercy. Not because of effort, but because of divine order. The delay was never to deny you, it was to develop you. God did not withhold to punish you, He withheld to prepare you. And when preparation meets timing, the door opens not with force, but with favor. That's how the Most High works. Not in chaos, not in competition, but in quiet power that changes everything. You are stepping into a season where you will no longer beg for what you were born to walk in. You will no longer shrink back to make others comfortable. You will no longer apologize for God's goodness over your life, because when He opens the door, He does not just invite you in, He endorses you. He makes you undeniable, not so you can boast, but so you can bless. Not so you can be seen, but so His power can be revealed through you. And let me tell you this, there is no man, no system, no voice, no enemy strong enough to override the decree of God. Once God declares it open, it is open. And even if people try to shut it in their flesh, the authority of God breaks every barrier. Don't fear man's resistance. Don't fear the attacks. Because when God is with you, you are surrounded by something greater than opposition. You are covered in divine backing. So let your steps be bold. Let your prayers be deep. Let your focus be sharp. Because you are walking into an assignment that hell tried to stop. You are stepping into a space that was built with your name written on it in the language of heaven. And as you go forward, you are not just a participant, you are a vessel, a carrier of what God wants to release on the earth, a light in the midst of confusion, a living sign of what God can do through the surrendered. And when you look back, you will not boast about the strategies you used or the connections you made. You will say, it was only by the power of God, because doors of this magnitude are not earned by effort. They are granted through divine mercy and timing. And when you see the magnitude of what you step into, when you witness the fruit of obedience blossom in ways you never imagined, your soul will weep in awe, not of the door, but of the one who opened it. This is not a normal moment. This is not another opportunity. This is a divine intersection where your obedience meets God's promise. It is the birthing of destiny. It is the unfolding of what was spoken in the Spirit long before you ever had words for it. And now, by the mercy of God, you are about to see it with your own eyes. The door is open, and nothing can shut it. Not your past, not your fears, not your mistakes, not your critics. Because what God opens, He sustains. What He begins, He fulfills. What He ordains, He defends. So now I speak directly to the depths of your soul. This is not just another message. This is a divine summons. God is calling you out of complacency, out of fear, out of hesitation, and into a life that is fully surrendered to His will. He is not asking for part of you. He is asking for all of you. Your time, your thoughts, your heart, your obedience. Not out of demand, but out of love. Because He knows what He placed inside you. He knows the magnitude of the purpose you carry. And He is calling you to rise, to walk boldly, to live like someone who knows that the Most High is the foundation of every step. Let the distractions fall. Let the bitterness go. Let the doubt dissolve. God is far too powerful for you to live small, afraid, or halfway committed. He did not form you in the womb, sustain you through storms, and preserve you through pain just so you could survive. He brought you this far so you could overcome, so you could reflect His light, so you could stand in the earth as a witness to His mercy, His timing, His might. Examine your life today. Look not just at what you're doing, but who you're becoming. Are you living aligned with the voice of God, or chasing voices that fade? Are you rooted in truth, or tossed by the opinions of the world? This is your call to return, not just to the idea of faith, but to the living presence of God, to seek Him when no one's watching, to obey Him when no one's clapping, to follow Him when the path is lonely, because true elevation begins in secret. Real power flows through surrender. You are being challenged now, not to strive harder, but to trust deeper, not to prove your worth, but to remember who gives you worth. God is enough. And when God is your anchor, no storm can sink you. When God is your guide, no darkness can blind you. When God is your source, no scarcity can shake you. This is not the time to shrink. It is the time to rise. With humility, with hunger, with the fire of conviction burning in your spirit. Let your life be a temple, not a stage. Let your words carry weight, not just volume. Let your heart be so deeply rooted in God that no wind can move you and no rejection can define you. You were made for more than survival. You were made to carry the presence of the Almighty into everything you touch. So live in a way that makes others wonder what power you walk with. Let your peace be unexplainable. Let your hope be unshakable. Let your steps be ordered, not by impulse, but by the still, sovereign hand of God. This is your moment, not to be seen by man, but to be known by God. To walk in obedience so fiercely that the earth feels the ripple of your surrender. The door is open, but more than that, the invitation is open. To return to the one who has been waiting patiently for your full yes. To silence every other voice and tune your ears to the one who called you by name before time began. So go forward, not in fear, not in pride, but in faith. Let your life be the answer to the question, what does it look like when someone fully trusts in God? And when the world watches, may they not just see you, may they see the power, the mercy, the holiness, and the unmatched glory of the one true God. Let every breath you take, every step you make, and every word you speak declare with boldness and reverence,